Well, I'm back for another round of the job market's cringiest job posts, so stick around. Hey everybody, it's Brian from A Life After Layoff, and today I want to bring you another lighthearted installment of the world's cringiest job postings. And in this series of videos, you guys are sending me some cringy job postings. I'm also finding some of my own, and I like to break them down here on this channel, mainly because I like to give you some insight into what to look for in low quality employers and probably some job postings that you should be avoiding. Now, some of these are pretty obvious, but as you start to read into them, it should start to give you ideas of red flags to be paying attention to in your own job search. Not to mention, these kind of videos are fun and I don't take them too seriously, so it's for your entertainment purposes as well. But before we get into those cringy postings, if you're interested in more content just like this directly from a corporate recruiter, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So bringing in our first cringy job posting is the seeking God level talent. So if you are a God level employee, you should probably consider this role because they're seeking a God level talent for a senior Google pay-per-click position. Now, fortunately, this is a remote job. God only apparently makes between $80,000 to $110,000 a year though. Now they spelled their number one core value, which is exceptional is expected. Being good isn't good enough for them. They also go on to say that we're small, lean, and powerful. And this means that every single employee needs to stand on their own and win. What do you mean by you need to win?
That's the guy and he's our dad and we can get all the answers and the truth. Wow, winning.
So I don't know what company this is, but obviously they are looking for somebody with an exceptional amount of talent. I haven't done the seller research on this one as well, so I'm not sure if 80 to 110K is reasonable. But I would think for a God level talent, which sets the standard for the entire omniverse, it seems a little bit on the low side to me. This next one is an interesting one, and they have a very liberal use of quotations and parentheses, and I don't know who the company is or what the job title is, so we'll just have to work with it. It says that you must be, in quotations, super sharp, then in parentheses, just an analogy, then it lists out a bunch of keywords that should have been your done stuff. So I'm not really sure what that means. Can you relate problem one to problem two, or do you get confused even when solving similar problems in the past? And then are you able to grasp problems? So basically they are really kind of spelling it out. It's almost condescending the way that this one is written. I kind of feel like they're talking down to me and making me feel stupid. Then you must be, and it's in quotations, and again, I don't know why they put these quotes. This is a very bizarrely written job posting, but you must be extremely energetic. Now, I don't know if the quotations is emphasizing the extremely or if that's showing that they're extremely energetic when they wrote this job posting. Do you raise eyebrows when asked to stretch your limits, both in terms of complexity, here we go, or the extra hours to put in? Well, what comes first in your mind? And let's finish it today so it can be done for tomorrow. It's Friday at 10 p.m. at work. Tired? So basically what this means is that their expectation for you is to be a complete outside of the box thinker, which, hey, you know, if I'm a business owner, I want somebody that can think outside of the box, can connect problem A to problem B, see some common solutions, kind of be a forward thinker. I don't think that that's completely unreasonable, even though it's written very strangely, but there is an owner mentality, and you're going to have to be careful with this one if you decide to apply, because at the end of the day, as an owner of a company, nobody is going to love your baby like you do. And I'm willing to suspect that they probably do not pay their people very well, because usually when you see these types of job postings, this does not come from a human resource or talent acquisition department who does this professionally and knows how to message things. This seems relatively unsophisticated. It seems like a kind of a bootstrapped type of opportunity, which doesn't mean that it's necessarily bad, but the way that this is written, you can expect there to be a fairly win at all costs, kind of toxic, certainly a culture of a work-life balance issue that's out of whack. So I'd be really careful with this one. Then it says that you must be honorably honest. Honorably honest. This is one of the more bizarre written job postings I think I've ever seen. And then it's like, who the hell wrote this? Do you tell others what you think or what they want to hear? You know, being direct is always a good thing. Later is good for sales teams and their customers, but not for this role. Are you honest with your work, intrinsically with yourself first? I could just imagine reporting, whoever wrote this, I'm imagining is probably the owner of the company, and it just seems like this like A plus alpha, and probably has an unrealistic expectation of their employees, the output and the dedication. What I found in a lot of startup situations is the founders tend to come from these organizations where they're buried down in the org chart. So maybe they're a very talented engineer or creative type, and they end up getting frustrated with their organization. Maybe they have some idea that they're working on with a friend of theirs at the same company, and then they decide to leave. And so they may have a high degree of technical competency or creativity or ambition and drive, but they have a very low level of competency in people leadership and how to recruit people and how to manage people, because they just have simply never done it before. And they come in from their angle believing that everybody should match their same level of intensity. And that's simply not the case, because nobody's going to love your baby like you do if you're the owner of a company. So what will happen is they'll then start to create a corporate culture that's extremely toxic because they don't know any better. And this is just the way that they want to do things. In some cases, they may even get the idea that they're kind of godlike in this sense. And I've heard it time and time again in a startup culture where you have this manager, the CEO, this founder who gets too involved in the weeds, comes in and messes everything up, and they don't have the competency for the type of role that you're doing. They don't trust you to do what you're doing, and they come in and mess everything up, and it creates a lot of turnover. It creates a lot of people being very miserable in their jobs. So I'm suspecting, based on this job posting, that that is what is happening in this case, because it just seems like an owner or a founder writing a job posting from that perspective. So it says, you know yourself best. If not, ask your loved ones and then decide. We clearly need exceedingly motivated people with entrepreneurial traits, not an employee mindset, not at all. So I hope that you're compensating people from an entrepreneurial perspective as well. I hope that you're giving very significant equity and you have your act together, that there's a realistic chance that they're actually going to see that equity and it could be worth a lot of money. Because if you're not paying people properly, if you're bootstrapped and you're expecting people to take on an entrepreneurial spirit the same way that you do, and this is your company, and you don't compensate them properly, then you can't expect that same level of dedication, because people enter into it. Yeah, you're going to get some people that will be super interested in the mission and they'll drink from the Kool-Aid, so to speak. But for most of us, we want to come in, do an honest day's pay for an honest day's work, and we want to have balance, and we want to be able to grow our career. We want to be able to pursue our passions and our hobbies and spend time with our families, etc. We are not married to our jobs. Next up, we have a training program. Now, this is a technology internship training program. Blackmore Partners is seeking a highly motivated candidate with a passion for technology, collaboration, and creative problem solving for our IT internship program. They stress that this is an unpaid remote position that will require a 3 or 6 month commitment at 30 to 40 hours per week. So if you're a highly motivated candidate who has a lot of passion and talent in these types of things, find a paid opportunity, because good quality employers, even if it's an internship, will pay you what you're worth. A low quality employer will try to use you for free labor. I guarantee this, because think of it this way. Your local burger shack and your local ice cream parlor will still pay the people who sweep and mop the floors every day. Why should you, the person who's been spending their time, energy, and resources to build up their skills and acquire a degree, give away your talents for free to a parasitic company like that? Our goal is to give our interns hands-on experience internally supporting our firm. Yes, supporting is right. You're supporting it. You're propping them up with free labor by learning new software platforms and implementing their own knowledge of the technology to improve the company process. They're literally using free labor to profit more, and I have an intuitive problem with that. You will collaborate closely with other interns. So, of course, there's going to be other unpaid interns. Maybe watched you show up to work one day, you find out that the guy next to you is also doing the same job as you as an intern, and he's getting paid 15 or 20 bucks an hour. That would really go over well. So it says that working together to bring fast and efficient tools, technical support for other teams in our firm, and you're going to study this documentation and kind of do all this stuff. It says this is a 3 or 6 month unpaid internship eligible for college credit. It's like when I was playing in a band and we used to get these like opportunities to play these gigs at these certain clubs, and they weren't willing to pay us for them because they would say, you're doing it for all the exposure that we're going to give you. And they had some like meager social media following and barely anybody would show up. And in fact, they would sell you tickets, or you would have to buy the tickets from them, a book of tickets, and then you'd have to go out and sell them yourself. And they would try to pitch it. Basically, you're paying to play at the show. And then they would try to tell you that this is great exposure for you. This is basically the exact same equivalent. Again, good quality employers will pay you for your time, your talent, and your energy. So this is absolutely a low quality employer. I'm not even sure who this Blackmore Partners is. Here's some of my favorite ones. When you log into a job application and you click on the apply now button, and somebody, and this looks like this is through indeed.com, just the way it's laid out. Somebody who is not in talent acquisition, I guarantee you, has decided to come up with a clever or creative job application where they're basically asking you behavior-based interview questions, or these like kind of esoteric questions in the actual application. And to me, this is so uncandidate focused. And this is the reason why I believe that this was not a talent acquisition person doing this, because the candidate experience in this case is you're asking every potential candidate to fill out all of these different things. Why should we interview you? Please write a 300-word response persuading us to interview you. Maybe this company should write a 300-word essay on why I should be interested in working for them. Then submit a Google Doc containing at least 3 pieces of your copy that you're most proud of. I guess if it's a portfolio or copywriter, okay, I can understand having to present some pieces of portfolio, so that probably makes sense. Here's a doozy though on this application, and they clearly can understand why they need a copywriter. Finish this sentence, a great copywriter should, and then it puts this blank in there. And I would probably finish by saying to make sure that there's no spelling errors in your job application, because the very next line, and this is so ironic, what is your career goals, with career being misspelled? Please feel free to elaborate. And I would probably give them a nice elaboration on their lack of using spell check or Grammarly. I'm not saying that I'm the best at spelling or that I've got the best grammar. I have to rely on some tools, and even still, they don't always catch everyone. But when you're putting a post up for a copywriter position and you misspell the word directly below great copywriter should, it's particularly ironic, and I think it's really funny. They clearly need the help here. Then it says, what markets have you written for? They ask you for quite a bit of information, because the next part of this says, as a writer, what are your biggest weaknesses and what are your biggest strengths? And these are prime interview questions and answers. If you're not sure how to answer those, check out some of my videos on how to answer those questions, because you might have some context here, although I would not bother putting them in this particular application. Then it's going to ask you, how many years have you been writing for? I mean, don't you think you could look at a resume and find that out? And then the bonus question, this is like the icing on the entire cake for this job posting. Submit a link with a 2 or 3 minute video telling us why you should be considered for this role. And then it says optional. So essentially they're encouraging you to go and create not only a dissertation on why you should be considered for the role, telling them all about, like, it's like basically like you're like their little monkey playing the tambourine and the drums and the cymbals, and you're some sort of on-demand job applicationer. So getting back to candidate experience, they're basically asking everybody who applies for this job to spend 30, 40, 50 minutes applying for this job, and then go and create a video on top of it, do all the editing. And they're probably only going to call back 2, 3, maybe 4 people out of the 100 or so that will apply for it. So it's a complete waste of all these people's time. So please don't apply for these types of roles. Anytime a company gets cute and creative like this in a job application, it's almost guaranteed that it's going to be a low quality employer, and you're probably going to get a lowball offer at the end of it. And this next one is sent to me by Olivia. So thank you, Olivia, for sending me this crazy job posting, but check this one out. This one's for an executive personal assistant, and it is for a creative agency success. So I'm not sure who that company is. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. I don't want to necessarily read through everything because it's too much, but if you kind of get the gist, they're basically asking for all of this craziness, and they're painting this picture. But the doozy is that you must be available for on-site daily work at the CEO's home in San Diego as needed, as well as occasional evening and weekend hours, including additional travel to other locations within the United States. So basically, as an executive personal assistant, it would be expected that you would do some of this stuff. I mean, tell me the message that this job posting sends to you. Look at all this stuff that they list out that you're going to be doing. You're going to be working with the CEO and all of these things, including you're going to be doing some cleaning. Not only are you going to be managing calendars and setting up all that stuff, which is probably pretty common with an executive administrative assistant or executive personal assistant. You might even pick up dry cleaning. I've heard that. That's not necessarily completely out of the ordinary. You can be taking meeting minutes and notes, but you're actually also going to be cleaning their house for them. So you probably will be using a toilet bowl cleaner to clean out his executive personal toilet in his house. You're also going to be doing on-site tech support and troubleshooting for the CEO. So not only do you need to know how to clean the toilets, you also need to know how to organize the calendar, and you need to be able to provide ongoing tech support for them as well.
Tech support.
Then about you have this on, like, it's just, there's so much here. You have to have a degree of initiative. I'm assuming that's initiative, to take independent action, exercise rational judgment at all times. Hopefully you're exercising rational judgment by not applying to this crappy position. Here's a good one though. You have to know that the secret code is 34. You do not have to know what this means, but we will explain. So I don't know if this is some sort of like decoder ring that you have to wear. Maybe this is some sort of like Dr. Evil who has this secret underground lair.
Welcome to my underground lair.
And in order to get there, you need to know the code's 34. Or code's 34 is the self-destruction button that blows up his evil island with his underground lair, and then he escapes on his rocket ship. I just this whole like this troubleshooting technology, it's just like the icing on the cake. I mean, it's just absolutely bizarre. And then they give you a day in the life of. No 2 days will be the same, but here's the list. I mean, talk about like, this guy seems, I'm assuming it's a guy, but this guy seems like so anal and so ridiculous with his expectation. I mean, look at this. The 7:30 breaks it down, 8 p.m. organized communication. It's just like literally he has it down to every half hour. He has you doing exactly what he needs you to do. Oh my gosh. I'll be honest, I didn't even scroll through all of this, but now I'm starting to. It's only getting better. CEO personality. He's friendly but direct people person. You never have to guess how you're performing because he'll tell you. I'm sure he will tell you all about his opinions based on this job posting, and what can be done for the two of you to work better together. He likes to have deep. I'm sure. I'm willing to bet that he has had a lot of people in and out of this role as a rotating door. So it's best to pick and choose when to interrupt with questions and come prepared to extract information you need. He would much prefer a message asking if he has 3 minutes to speak than a long message asking detail. I mean, this is like, it's ironic that he says, I would prefer a message with asking when he has something to speak because he needs it to be concise. Yet, look at this job posting. Like, holy moly. This is supposed to be concise. Always works best with an EA person that is in an environment where they're earshot away so that he can update or share. So in other words, you have to always be around him like a little puppy dog, maybe sitting at his feet while he works, and when you're not cleaning the toilets or taking care of his IT needs. The best time to get information from him is in the morning after his deep focus time. It's like, imagine he's like some guru sitting there doing some sort of meditative work. I'm sorry. I'm almost speechless. I don't think I've ever quite seen a job. They just keep getting better. These job postings just never cease to amaze me. If you don't have the secret code, please do not apply. Okay, so the secret code is so that they can guarantee that you read through this ridiculous job posting, because apparently, rightfully so, most people are not reading through this complete drivel of BS. Dazzle us with writing your cover letter. Oh, here we go. So you should learn how to write a cover letter. And I do teach people how to write a really great cover letter in my course, Resume Rocketfuel. So you can check that out if you need help getting this job. And then make sure that to make sure it's clear you custom wrote it for this job, that you've checked out our website, and you tell us why you will work harder than anyone else in this role should you get it. Include your resume, sure, but no, our primary focus will be to read your cover letter. So at least they're being honest about that, which is interesting because most recruiters, I'll be perfectly honest with you, most recruiters don't really even take the time to read cover letters because the resume really is the main thing. We're worried about the qualifications and whether or not you match the jobs closely. Clearly, this person does not have a high degree of pickiness in your qualifications. You could come from any walk of life, which could be good. Well, although they want somebody that has a bachelor's degree. But I mean, if you have a bachelor's degree, do you really want to work for somebody like this? Resumes without detailed and specific custom to us cover letters or videos will be thrown out unread. I mean, that's good. You should just throw this job posting out. Tell us your exact income expectations. Your salary request here will help us to understand your expectations if this is a place where you'd be happy. So in other words, they're not going to pay you very much at all, and they want to make sure that you're not going to waste their time like I've wasted my time reading through this job posting. Before you answer, try to think like a CEO. Before you answer, try to think like a CEO. What would work for you and what would be fair market price for this role? Sorry. So basically they're telling you think long and hard, go cheap, because the CEO wants to save as much money as possible so you can clean his toilets and you can do his IT support and you can do all of this other stuff at a moment's notice without any nights or weekends off, flying around the country, doing everything that he wants you to do within an earshot of him. This sounds like maybe the worst job posting I have ever heard of. But you'll get to work closely with their CEO, and when you do, it's important that you are very precise in your communications. This is one way you can demonstrate your ability to be specific and follow through. Oh my gosh, this sounds like such a toxic. Is Victoria the CEO? I'm starting to think Victoria is the CEO for this one. She's writing it. I'm pretty sure Victoria is the CEO. Being vague in this area will just set up concern that you're not going to be able to do what is asked of you later on. So yeah, I don't even want to respond to this. It's this income expectations thing. Like, this is just such BS. I mean, if you apply to this job, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, have some self-respect. So anyway, Olivia, thanks for sending this one. This one was a real doozy to kind of sum up this whole thing. I try to keep these as pretty lighthearted. I don't take these very seriously. This is not meant to be more than anything other than really entertainment value, because you should know by now not to fall for any of this BS that I'm going through these job postings. But anyway, hopefully you got a little bit of a chuckle out of them. And if you need any help in your job search, like always, you can check out my website. I've got all kinds of training courses and stuff that you can check out. But I'll continue to do these as long as I find good job postings. You can preferably just send them through my LinkedIn. That would probably be the easiest way, because I kind of keep them in a little safe folder there, and I can check out the job postings pretty easily. But anyway, appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.